Thanks for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo, and I'm interviewing the different presenters at the BEPC monthly meetings. So our next meeting is Monday, September 18 at 5:30 p.m. in Kent, and Debbie Ritter is going to be sharing about her work, Opening to the Akasha. So Debbie, share with us a little bit about your work and what you'll be presenting on the 18th.
Oh, thank you. So I'm an Akashic record reader. That's I'm an intuitive, but that's really what I specialize in. And I came to it. I've been intuitive all my life, but it really didn't take up speed until about 2010, and because I was busy doing other things. And somehow a friend told me about the Akashic records, and I had a few readings from people, but then I found my way to Linda Howe, and as soon as I had a reading with her, I just knew that this was what I wanted to do, and I wanted to learn from her. So I basically have trained with her I've taken every training she offers, and I just feel like it's a lineage. And I know that there are different approaches to the records, but I stick to hers very closely. And in fact, I don't know that much about the other different approaches. So, yeah, so what it is, and I teach, so what it is, it's a way, I think of it as the link between intuitive work and spirituality. There's a self-knowledge component that comes into it that I don't feel always comes through when people are getting a reading, a typical psychic reading, if you will. And it doesn't require the amount of discipline and practice that a full spiritual, like a Buddhist path, would require. That said, I come to it from that spiritual perspective because I've been a Buddhist practitioner, and I've got a lot of spiritual resources that I draw upon, and that's one of the reasons why I love Linda so much, is because everything she says, all of her work is very consonant with what I have been learning and practicing my entire life. So what I'm going to be doing with the presentation on the 18th is giving a little bit of background on the records, the history of them, because they've been around for a long time. Some people think it's kind of a construct and they're not really sure what they are, so I'll clarify some of that. But mostly it's experiential, and so it used to be that people millennia ago, that you could only get into only the elites, the arcane elites or the mystics could get into the records. But things have evolved since then, and the records are available to everybody. And it doesn't mean that everybody needs to go into them, or it's their path, but everybody can access their own records. And so I'll be showing the people, the participants, how to access their own records and lead them through that. And, and they can see what they get. There's a lot of information there. Some of it's about, and I think in any kind of intuitive work, some of it's about kind of trying to quiet that left brain, that noisy left brain that we rely on so much. But in the records, it's almost like, for me, it's an automatically lighter. So that noise you hear in the background is my parrot, my 35-year-old parrot, who likes hearing this. That it's a finer, higher vibration. I can feel it. It's tangible when I go into the records.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What is it like for someone that's new that is accessing their records for the first time? Do people access it and sense it in different ways, or there's some themes?
Well, that's a great question, because there's no wrong way to access it, and there's no uniform way. It's different for everybody, and it's possible not to get in them, but I don't make that judgment call. The only, there are 3 governing principles of the records: judge not, fear not, and resist not. And so if someone is entering into a place of fear or judgment, it probably means that they're not in the records. That's a place where you can bring all of your judgments and your fears, but it's not a place that will increase them or feed them. So yeah, so the experience is different for everybody. I really was hoping when I first got into the records, I'm a Harry Potter fan, so I thought it would be like a cosmic kind of Hogwarts, and it wasn't like that at all for me. Some people think it's going to be like a hall of mirrors or a library or some kind of, Star Trek, R&R, when they go to those, other worlds where everybody's in robes or something, but it's different for everybody. Yeah.
I believe that everyone has access to like various forms of metaphysical or psychic awareness.
Yes.
So when people are accessing their records, are they typically opening in the ways that they are most open? Like that's a clue also for how they might open in general?
I think that's really a valid point. Linda says that you do not have to be psychic to read the records, which I thought takes everybody off the hook. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I do believe that we have, once we kind of move out of that left brain mind, we can access that larger space of who we are. And we have a huge unconscious of our own that connects to the divine. And then there's the layers of collective unconsciousness, of unconscious that we can access when we do this work. So, yeah.
That's great. And I guess, so you knowing how to access the records, you're able to access other people's records. Are other people typically able to do that, or that's where the training really is involved?
Right, and that's another interesting point, because some people, when I teach, some people have a definite preference initially for one or the other. And my experience is that it's not this, accessing your own records and accessing the records of another is not the same experience. Mm-hmm. And it's not the same experience as I access, everybody has an individual set of records. So it's not the same. And also, as time has gone on, I don't focus so much on the actual experience of what the records are like. I kind of move along and set up the conversation and get the information flowing. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about this, I'm a very experiential person. I really like to, take a nice long, I like to meditate. I like to go sit in light. I like to go and, take that dip into the unconscious. But in the records, what moves energy is the spoken word. So it's really ideal for readings. And if you have very specific questions, if you're trying to get some information in, some coherent information. Yeah. So, yeah, but sometimes I have to say I do go into the records just to get that hit of the light. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm very motivated to come myself, so I'm going to go check my schedule and see if I need to rearrange things. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's great. Yeah.
That's great. Is there anything else that you want to share with us just before we close?
Just that for people who are interested in coming, you'll be getting this is kind of like a crash course on how to read the records, and in the manner of Linda Howe, as it were, in the lineage of Linda Howe, and there won't be time for us to take. I don't know, we'll see, but to take a crack at reading somebody else's records. If it moves along that quickly, maybe that would be something that we could do as well. So that's a little bit, kind of a preview of what to expect. I won't be doing all the talking. It will be, it will be participatory. So
practice. Oh, it's great. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate your generosity in sharing your work with the community, and I look forward to a great session. So that'll be Monday, September 18 at 5:30. I guess 5:30 p.m. is the general membership meeting, and then we meet from 6 to 8 p.m. with you. And see if the address for Kent Commons is right here. Well, we're going to have an event on Facebook, and so you'll be able to see everyone watching, be able to see the address right there. Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much, Debbie. It's great connecting with you. And